So yeah, the WNBA very well could be getting sued here. They could very well be getting sued because this does not appear to check out. From everything I've read, this does not appear to check out. It says here, they would have allowed prospective buyers from either Boston or Hartford to purchase the Sun for $325 million if they had been willing to keep the team in Uncasville. The owners from Hartford, I'm pretty sure, said they would keep the team in Uncasville. I'm pretty sure it was the state of Connecticut that said they would basically do whatever it took to keep the team in Connecticut. Like, from as far as I'm aware, that is what I took from all of it, was that they did everything they could to keep the team in Connecticut. That they didn't care really about it, where exactly it was, but it was all just, the whole thing with them was, how do we keep this team in Connecticut? So I think everybody here talking about this being like, oh, like they didn't pay their relocation fee. And I'm like, well, why the fuck would they have had to pay any relocation fee? Just saying. Just saying, why would they have had to pay a relocation fee if they didn't relocate the team? Because that was it. They just wanted a relocation fee. They fully just wanted a relocation fee and did not care what they did to get it. They didn't care what happened. They didn't care one bit about any of these teams. They didn't care one bit about the players. They didn't care a bit about the state of Connecticut. They wanted the team to be in. Talk the main issue from Boston with the majority owner was not involved. The Celtics owner was not involved. Couldn't get priority scheduling TD Garden. They just made up shit. It seems like they've just made up shit. It says here, the infrastructure only works if it's tri-owned. Hartford is the epicenter of was basketball, 30 years of UConn. That's literally it. Why would they want a team in Uncasville instead of Boston or Hartford? The fix was in. They wanted to sell the Sun to Houston, so they made it economically impossible for New England groups to buy the team. Yeah, as far as I just want to see here, looking through, I think somebody said it here. They weren't allowed to relocate within the region, but they were allowed to move the other way in the country. Yeah, they refused to allow them to relocate 20 miles down the road. And Hartford is not a relocation. Hartford is not a relocation. And I think I saw it somewhere, and I'm not going to say this is fact, but I'm like 99% sure I saw it somewhere, that they didn't let them do it anyway. Like, it didn't really matter. They wouldn't have let them do it anyway. Even if they said, we're going to keep the team in Uncasville, which they were never going to do, they would not have allowed them to relocate the team. It was straight up we are sending this team to Houston because we promised Houston during the round of expansion that they'll get it next. Because Hartford is right there for more money in Houston. If you wanted to pull, you have to say. And by the way, it says here, they would have allowed them to get it, to keep the team in Hartford there for $325 million. So basically, they said, okay, yeah, we would have actually let you pay $25 million more if you wanted to keep the team there. But, to move the team to the other end of the country and get rid of all these fans, we are willing to waive that. And actually, we'll give you a $25 million discount because we're going to make sure as hell the only way this team goes to anywhere other than Houston is we're going to make sure there's no way it happens. Is if they refuse to move it, which they can't do if they're not the Mohegan Sun Tribe because they don't own all the facilities in Uncasville. It is as simple as that. It is as simple as that. They wanted Fertitta, who, by the way, there is a very good chance that Tillman Fertitta just, I'm telling you this right now, a WNBA team tied to an NBA team is going to go bust very soon. They're going to be liquidated. It's going to happen very soon. Will it be the Houston Rockets or Comets? Maybe. But there will be a team linked to an NBA team that the owner just says, you know what, fuck it. Why did I get involved in this? I don't even like the WNBA. I can't sell this team, so let's just liquidate the team. And that is going to happen soon. Because there are literally places, like again, Hartford. Hartford would be the best place. Hartford would be the best place. So let me get the straight. Team's not allowed to move 50 miles to Hartford, not allowed to move 100 miles, but they're allowed to move 2,000 miles. Yeah, because they promised Houston. It's as simple as that. They promised Houston they would get the next team. So they made sure as hell that, they made sure as hell that, that's all that was going to happen. That it was going to Houston. They promised Houston they would get the next team. So unless it was Houston, that was it. There was nothing else that they could have done. They could have offered $1 billion. They could have offered $1 billion, and it didn't matter. They would not. They would have said no. And I mean that. Because by the way, the league doesn't see any of that money. That goes to the Connecticut Sun tribe. So the league wouldn't care. The league would have turned down $1 billion to keep the team there. And I have a weird feeling somebody's going to sue the WNBA. And it could very well be the state of Connecticut. The state of Connecticut could sue the WNBA. I have a really weird feeling that there's going to be a lawsuit about this. I don't know what ends up happening. The likelihood is that maybe Connecticut get promised a team in the next round of expansions. Maybe in 2031 when they're bringing in Boston. Because there's 18 teams right now. There's 15 teams now, and then there's 2 more that are coming in it's Cleveland and I don't know who the others are. And then my guess is that Boston are going to get one in the next round of expansion, and I think maybe there might actually be the conclusion of the lawsuit might be that they can get they're guaranteed an expansion team at market rate. That Hartford is guaranteed an expansion team. And I actually think that very well could happen. I think that any sort of a lawsuit probably will be resolved in something like that with, or maybe a price locked in at this time, guaranteeing them an expansion team at a price, I don't know, let's just say they lock in $500 million in 2031. Just like the David Beckham rule for Inter Miami, they got a franchise locked in at a price from 2007, and it was like when they were worth $500 million, he managed to hit for $25 million. But yeah, there's a world something like that happens, because I don't think Connecticut are going to just sit there silently and just accept the fact that they got fucked. And they got fucked in the worst way possible, because there's no even team close to them. And the Connecticut Sun, and not only that, their entire history is about to be wiped out. So you know those finals that Kurt Miller got them to, Alyssa Thomas, all of that. Alyssa Thomas is not going to be the best player in any franchise's history, because they're going to take on the history of the Houston Comets. So everything the Connecticut Sun did is going to be erased. We have to be real here. Every single thing the Connecticut Sun did is not going to exist anymore unless Connecticut get another franchise, because they are going to erase all of it. Because you better believe, just like the way the Bobcats had nothing to do with the old Charlotte Hornets, and the Pelicans currently were the old Charlotte Hornets. The old Charlotte Hornets history is now for the new Charlotte Hornets, who are a completely different franchise. Completely different. But that is the history that is now tied to the Charlotte Hornets, is for something for a completely different franchise. But that's probably what's going to happen. That they're going to say, you know what, we want to say we won 4 titles, so we're going to be the Houston Comets again. We are going to take the history of the old Houston Comets, and the Connecticut Sun history is going to just not exist. It's not even going to be in a record book. It's just going to be in one of these quote unquote defunct franchises. Even though it's not a franchise, it is a franchise that was bought and relocated, because the NBA promised Tillman Fertitta the quote unquote. Am I right in saying, was it one second? I need to make sure I get this quote correct. Yeah, the quote unquote twin of the current president of America. He's got the team, and I would not be surprised if in 2 years he gets bored and liquidates the team again. It's not, if franchise values aren't going up, he could very well liquidate the team. But anyway, I'll see you guys.